BBA 104, Indian Ethos and Business Ethics, second unit, the salient features, holistic approach for managers in decision making. The salient features of Indian ethos. Indian ethos focuses on the existence of human being as a truth. There is nothing perfect other than the supreme soul. Indian ethos focuses on the belief that if you're good, then the whole world is good. The principles are derived from the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Purans. According to the Indian ethos, there must be a balance between spiritual values and secular values so that even a rich person can lead a life of materialism and spirituality. That Indian ethos gives greater emphasis on values and ethics. Knowledge is not power, character is the real power. Indian ethos emphasizes on inner resource. Inner resources are much more powerful than the outer resources. According to Indian ethos, total quality management can be assured through excellence at work. Work life in Indian philosophy. Now let's talk about what does work life in what does Indian philosophy talks about the work life. Despite of having an ancient culture and philosophy about work life, we in India have not yet managed to develop our own management styles in consonance with our own culture, ethos, and have been important management systems and styles from foreign countries. While successful countries like the USA, UK, and Germany are rediscovering Indian ethos, we in India are in process of losing it. While the success of Japan in managing its economy and enterprise lies in Japanizing the management process within the framework of Japanese ethos, culture, and value system, Indian companies find in India itself an ancient tradition, a unique heritage to draw from, and all that they need for their management styles and practices. Indian philosophy regards work as worship and the customer as God himself. Such Indian tradition and heritage, its culture and philosophy, ethos and values, are a treasure house where the richest and the rarest for gems are stored. There is a lot that we can achieve in the philosophies that we're propagating over Indian ethos over centuries. We have still not achieved them at the global level, but somewhere or the other, in all Indian companies, in all Indians, we can feel the existence of that value system, that belief system, which is helping us to keep those alive still in today's age and time. The principles practiced by Indian companies. Let's discuss those. Despite of India having an ancient culture, we have a lot of principles that can still be spotted in Indian companies. First, inner resources are much more powerful than outer resources. Divine virtues are inner resources. Capital, materials, plant and machinery are outer resources. When we start a company, a project, any work, we have to focus on our inner resources as much as our outer resources, and that is what is going to make us more powerful. Immense potential, energy, and talents for perfection as human being has the spirit within her heart. We have the most capability present inside us. Holistic approach indicating unity between the divine. The divine means perfection in knowledge, wisdom, and power, individual self, and the universe. Subtle, intangible subject and gross tangible objects are equally important. One must develop one's third eye, the Jan Chakshu, the eye of wisdom, visions and insight and foresight. Karma Yoga, selfless work, offers double benefits, private benefit in the form of self-purification and public benefit. If you do work selflessly, you're going to help yourself and others around you. Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam, which means excellence at work through self-motivation and self-development with devotion without attachment. You need to focus on your work, you need to motivate yourself and develop yourself to achieve the most at your work. Cooperation is a powerful instrument for team work success and in any enterprise involving collective work. If we do not cooperate with people around us, we cannot achieve success the way we would if we are all together focused on the common goal. The requisites for Indian ethos. First, management attitude. Top management having firm belief in value-oriented holistic management. If we have people on the top management which makes us believe that, it is going to motivate the employees and all the other stakeholders in the process. Profit is earned through service and satisfaction of all stakeholders, employees, customers, shareholders and citizens. Fulfillment of social responsibility must be ensured. While performing the common goal of any business is to make profit. But while making profit, while engaging in the karma to achieve that, you need to focus on all the stakeholders and some sort of fulfillment should be achieved by that and some sort of giving back to the society should be happening. That is when you achieve it completely. Humanizing the organization. Looking at the three aspects of humane organization, that is interpersonal relationships, man-machine equation where man is the prime concern, and inner management through mental and spiritual growth of individuals. It just highlighted three aspects of a human organization. First is the interpersonal relationship. That talks about how we connect with the people in our organization, with our superiors, with our colleagues, with the subordinates, and everybody. And if we have cordial interpersonal relationships, we can work very positively towards the achieving the common goal of the organization, that is making profits. Man machine equation. In a man machine equation, we all have a lot of machinery to depend on in today's time to do our work, but again the primary here again is the man. We need to have such sort of equation that the man feels that he is mastering the machinery, he is understanding the machinery, and should not feel beneath it in any manner. And inner management through mental and spiritual growth, again highlighted in this subject, is that we cannot achieve until unless our inner self is not happy. Interiorizing the management. Self-management or management by consciousness, when the soul manages the other four members of the human being, namely the body, mind, intellect, and the heart. The conflict these four have amongst themselves can be resolved. Sometimes our heart wants something, but your mind suggests you to do otherwise. What guides you is your soul, is the divine within, and that is what we need to focus on. Self-introspection. Embark upon self-study, self-analysis, and self-criticism to locate areas of friction and disharmony. A self-examination of one's own feelings, thoughts, emotions, sensations, and passions, and a desire to reduce and subdue the ego. Once we understand our own self, when we come back and look what actions did we do in a day and what have been the repercussions of those actions on others, that is what self-introspection talks about. If I analyze myself, if I criticize myself, it is going to make me a better person, because then I will be able to highlight my own flaws, my weaknesses, and then work upon them to become better. Brain stilling. For rational and enduring decisions, silent mind is necessary. A perfect calm mind enjoying tranquility is necessary. Brain stilling or meditative silence is the most reliable method to discover solutions to problems which seem to be difficult to tackle by reason and intellect, because through this one can come into contact with the inner mind or higher consciousness called the Chetana. You need to have a calm mind to focus on a task given to you. If my mind is wandering all over the place and I have 100 things going on it, I will never be able to give my 100% to the task at hand. And that is what it says. You need to have a focused and calm mind to give your complete potential to your task. Stepping back for a while. Never decide anything, never speak a word, and never throw yourself into action without stepping back. The stepping back from a situation for a while enables one to control and master a situation. We say the worst things when we say it out of impulse. It takes effort to step back, but that is something that is going to help you grow in the bigger picture. Don't speak it just so that you have to say something. Think, control your senses, clear your mind, calm it down, and then say it. It makes you the master of that situation. Self-dynamizing meditation. A dynamic meditation helps in transformation of lower consciousness into higher consciousness, and hence is called transforming meditation. Through meditation, one reaches a higher level of consciousness with a silent and calm mind, which offers guidance in the form of intuitions to tackle a multitude of problems. This is called consciousness approach to management. Once I meditate, once I try to bring calmness to my mind, it is going to give me solutions which might not come when I am scattered, when I am thinking of 5 different things at the same time with the same energy, enthusiasm, but my focus is divided in all of those things. So once I focus, when I get that level of consciousness achieved, I can take better solutions. As it says, I will get better intuitions which will help me tackle a lot of problems. It is also, as I mentioned, called consciousness approach to management. The role of intuition. Intuition is the act of coming to direct knowledge or certainty without reasoning or inferring. It is immediate cognition by the inner mind, and when fully developed is effective and efficient for taking prompt and sound decisions. Intuition skills enable one to cope with confidence, the fluctuating environment, and rapid changes. Faith is a prerequisite to develop and realize the power of intuition. This is something we all experience. We all have intuitions about things every now and then. But some people trust their gut more than the others. Why? Because they have cleansed their mind. They have the focus, the calmness, the purity to trust their intuition because they know what their inner self is guiding them to do might be true, since they have put in all their energy, channelized their energy towards this calmness and achieving this approach. So that is what intuition talks about. We all get intuitions, but our faith in it increases once we trust our own self, once we have developed ourselves, once we have analyzed ourselves, once we have given our internal divine the kind of meditation, focus, and food it needs for survival. Now let's talk about the elements of Indian ethos. Firstly, focus on the permanent. In real life, fashions change, concepts change, situations change, environments change. However, certain things do not change. These are the values of good, truth, and beautiful. No matter in which firm I am, no matter what group of friends I have, my value system should not change. I should be honest, focused, empathetic, truthful, and that's what should be permanent, and that's what we should focus on. The next element is quest for perfection. When it comes to quality, the concepts like total quality, management, etc., have underlined the principle of the fact that quality products and services cannot come out of an organization unless the principle of quality pervades in every function of that organization. In any management today, the ultimate focus on excellence can never be lost. Thus, it is found that this aspect of Indian ethos is also not only relevant to India but globally. Joy in performing one's function. Quality is the pride which an artisan takes in its craft. It is the pride which an artist takes in his art. If one is enjoying what one is doing, automatically she or he is bound to do extremely well. And while excellence becomes a byproduct or a spin of the benefit of happiness, it also leads to success. After all, every excellent organization has excellent morale. So these two are interrelated, the last two elements that we discussed, quest for perfection and joy in performing one's function. We cannot achieve a common goal without being perfect and focused at each step. Let's imagine that your country is participating in a sport and there are different players playing, but one of them is performing to beyond excellence and one of them is not even performing at par with his potentials due to some reasons. Can we win that sport? Can we win that match? No, because quality has not been achieved at every level, and that's what management should focus in today's time, that quality at the end can only be perfect when it is achieved at every step. And how do we do it? When every person who is performing their task has the joy in performing their function. If they are enjoying their job, if they are enjoying their task, they will automatically be giving 100% of their capabilities, which is going to give us the quality that we aspire to achieve. So these two elements are very interrelated with each other, and that's what the management should focus on. Now let's talk about the role of Indian ethos in managerial practice. Indian ethos for management means the application of principles of management as revealed in our ancient wisdom, brought forth in our sacred books like our Gita, Upanishads, Bible, and Quran. The aim of ancient Indian education system was not only to give theoretical knowledge but to make an individual humble so that he can get mukti. The ultimate aim of human society of that age was to achieve of absolute, that is Brahma. It was prevailing in the entire visible world. A man should engage himself in karma upasana, that is work is worship, and thus purity in his inner senses and gaining the absolute. The main aim of all education during ancient period was to make the student useful and pious member of society. This was achieved by proper development of moral feelings. It was believed that mere intellectual knowledge was not enough to become a learned fellow. In addition, the student must be pure in his life, thoughts, and habits. This was the third main characteristic of Hindu educational system. This was realized by encouraging self-confidence, fostering self-respect, and self-restraint. Graduate students were highly inspired during convocation address to be a useful member of the society. A graduate student was not to lead a self-centered life, rather he was constantly remain reminded of his obligation to the society. So here we talk about, in our ancient system, the society that we were operating in, they had the bigger goal. The education system was not just preparing the students for a particular job, a particular skill. They were preparing them to achieve a holistic goal in the society by making them realize that you have to give back. You cannot be self centered. You have to give back to the society, and that is what their convocation also spoke about. Let's take a point by point. Like it is mentioned that they were not just given, sorry, it was believed that mere intellectual knowledge was not enough to become a learned value. In addition, the student must be pure in his life, thoughts, and habits. Let's imagine that today someone has completed their bachelor's in engineering, or let's give it a more giving back to the society profession, has completed their MBBS. They become a doctor. They have the theoretical knowledge about the subject, but they do not have the values of becoming a doctor. Imagine there is a patient dying in front of them, but they do not treat them because their person has not paid them money till now, or they do not have sufficient money to be in that hospital, or they do not have the right document on them immediately available, and any delay in their care could lead to fatal results. The doctor standing there does not treat them because he feels that these things have to be fulfilled before that he starts the treatment of the patient. Is that what the job is? Is that what it suggests? That's what the Indian ethos talks about. That you need to be a learned fellow, but with pure thoughts, pure habits, with a thought that you have to give back to the society. You need to have self confidence, but you need to also have self restraint. That I cannot do this thing that is not going to give back to the society, or that is going to cause harm to someone. So there should be self restraint as well. Another thing that it talks about is self respect. No one in the society could be a learned fellow, a good scholar, a good person for that matter, if they do not have self respect, because they are not giving the due respect to the divinity within them. So it has to be understood that self respect becomes very important. Another very important value that was taught in the earlier time was karm upasana, that work is worship and no work is small. We in today's world have started looking down upon lot of work given to people as this is something I will not do. This is something I'm not supposed to do. We are all supposed to do and perform the life skills that are required to sustain in this world. And we cannot look down upon any person's work, job, and efforts just because we think that the work is small. Every work is important, every work is needed, and every work holds the should be given the amount of respect any job is given. And if you do not have purity in your inner senses, you cannot gain the happiness and joy in performing your work. The end goal that was taught in the earlier times was to achieve mukti or moksha, or achieving becoming absolute, that is becoming Brahma. कि जहाँ से शुरू हुआ था वहीं पे अंत हो, ब्रह्मामय. ये चीज, how do we achieve that is when you have the thoughts, the purity, the sanctity of what you have done throughout your life. Each step, like we had discussed before also, karmic connections. Whatever is happening to you, whatever you are doing, is all your karmas coming back to you in some format or the other. So we need to be careful about that as well. That to achieve moksha or to achieve mukti, we need to be giving back to the society. We need to have the value system that is imbibed in us through the what is mentioned in our sacred books like Gita, Upanishad, Bibles, etc. And that is only what is going to make us whole. That's what we discussed in the second unit of this subject, that is Indian ethos and business ethics. The salient features, work life, how we have the work life depicted in Indian philosophy, the principles that are being followed suggested by the Indian philosophies and followed by Indian companies, requisites for Indian ethos, the element of Indian ethos, bringing us to the end of this unit. Thank you.